Hello everybody, my name is Frij and I'm going to show you guys today the greatest tips ever in Factorio. One of the most powerful tools that you can use in this game is using Q. Yep, Q on your keyboard. If you push it while hovering over something, you will select that item from your inventory. See, if I select Q on this belt, I now can pick out the belts. If I select Q on anything else, I now select that item from my inventory instantly. Once it is inside of your hand, you can press Q again to deselect the item from your hand. If this is your very first game in Factorio, I would highly recommend not getting blueprints. Don't copy blueprints from other people because it takes away from the fun of the game. Once you decide to set up a brand new game or you have beaten the first game, yeah, I think it's 100% fine and okay to get people's blueprints and stuff like that because you can actually learn a lot that way. Okay, my next tip has to do with power. When you put power poles down and you're trying to go like long distances, it can get a bit monotonous and tedious trying to place these things down one by one. However, if you click and hold your mouse and then run, it will now automatically place these power poles at their furthest distance or attempt to power whatever they pass by. Okay, so we have a little setup here that needs some power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a medium power pole. I'm just going to hold down left click and walk. And as I do, everything that needs power, the power pole will automatically be placed down to where it needs to go. Look at that. Nice. Okay, now this next concept has to do with steam power. There is a ratio in the game that is commonly known throughout Factorio players who play all the time. It's called 1:20:40. And if you take a look here, so this is the 1:20:40 build. Right here I have a single offshore pump providing water for 20 boilers and 40 steam engines. How this works is that one pump provides exactly enough water to support 20 boilers. And each boiler creates enough steam for 2 engines to work with it. If you take a look right here on the tooltip of the boiler, on the bottom it says generate steam. Its output is 60 steam per second. A steam engine says consumes the steam. It consumes 30 a second. So 30 times 2 is 60. And that's why it goes 1:20:40. So you don't always have to have 20 boilers. However, for every boiler you have, you need to use 2 steam engines with it to maximize your efficiency. Use your action bars here. You see these right here? They're used all the time. Specifically, the easiest ones to keybind are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should always try to be using those on your keyboard. You can cycle through your action bars with X, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. By default, you only have 2 action bars. However, if you go here to the interface settings, you can drag this little slider up to 4. You can put down your most used items down there. So in case you can't find what you need to push Q on the ground, you can just click right there on your action bar, and then you will no longer have to push E to go into your inventory to find this item. It'll be right there on your action bar, same place every time. Okay, my next tip is to use copy and paste on your keyboard. Control C to copy, Control V to paste, just like when you're working with text on any computer, right? Copy and paste. This feature is not unlocked until you reach a certain point in the game, however, but once you do, you should use it all the time. Another feature with the paste, while you're in paste mode and you press Control V, you'll see the last thing you copied. If you hold down Shift and scroll wheel up and down, you can see a history of everything you've copied. Extremely useful. I use it all the time. And you should too. Now, Factorio, even in 2D pixel form, it is really beautiful, highly detailed. However, a lot of people think that there's too much detail on the ground in terms of clutter. So to remove that, you go into the graphics settings, right up here to show decoratives, and turn it off. And you'll be able to see the difference here when I go back and forth. See, now it's on. Look at all this clutter, all the grass. It goes over the concrete. It doesn't look good. So a lot of people just go in here and they click it off. And now it's a lot more clean, easy on the eyes. Do it. My next tip here has to do with whenever you get logistic and construction robots. Have you ever looked at the map and you're trying to wonder, where are my robots at? Where are they going? What are they doing? Click M to go to your map. On the top right, you can toggle on and off show robots. And this will allow you to see all these little dots appear on your screen so you know where your robots are at. The next tip has to do with the splitter. The splitter is more advanced than meets the eye. You have the ability to choose your output priorities and also your input priorities. So let's go ahead and give an example here. I'm going to show you what output priority right will look like. And I'm also going to set a filter. So I put a steel on the right side. So now only steel will go on the right side. Everything else will go on the left. So I'm going to put a bunch of random stuff in here. And as you can see, the splitter is filtering all the steel off to the right side and keeping everything else on the top. Let's go ahead and remove the filter. We'll keep the output priority to the right so you can see what that looks like. So if I throw a bunch of stuff in here, the splitter now is going to prioritize every single item going off to the right. If that belt on the right gets full, it'll now dump everything to the left instead. However, it will always prioritize outputting whatever's on the belt off to the right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the input priority now. If I have multiple input belts with one output belt, I've set the splitter to input priority on the left. So let's see what this looks like. Input priority left. We'll put some walls in there, put some walls in there. As you can see, the right belt stopped inputting because the priority is the left belt. Okay, now I'd like to talk about making a new game. A lot of people, when they first start up, they don't realize this, but you can actually preview the map before you enter it. So this is a preview of the map of what this seed looks like. If you click random seed up here on the top left, you'll be able to randomly generate a brand new map based off the seed number. And you will always start in the center of the map around the 4 resources needed to start up a base. So iron, copper, coal, and stone. Now let's talk about power. The 2 bars that you want to look at here are satisfaction and production. Satisfaction is telling you if your base is getting enough power, if your base is satisfied with the amount of power. The number on the right is the number that the base requires, and the number on the left is the number that it's getting. Over here on the production side, the number on the right, 6.4 gigawatts, is how much potential your base can put out. I'm running on nuclear power right now, so there's a lot of potential, but I'm only producing the exact amount of power required by my base. You will not produce more power than is required by your base. If you look at this blank area, that means I have this much wiggle room to go. I can double the power required by my base and I'll still be good to go. Something else I don't see a lot of people using is the X in chests to limit the amount of items that go into that chest. Let's say you're automatically producing laboratories. I don't think you want an entire chest full of laboratories, so you go ahead and limit that to like 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks, and you should do this with everything that you're automating, unless it's something that is really mass produced like iron plates, iron ore, or anything else that's going to be working with high volume all the time. Let's talk about balancing out a single belt. Let's say on one side of your belt you have a lot of resources, but on the other side of the belt it's kind of spare. It's kind of limiting and lacking. So what a splitter does is it splits the input 50-50. It takes 50%, puts it out to the right, takes 50% out to the left. So the top belt here, it's going to have 50% of everything, and the bottom belt here is going to have 50% of everything. So now if we merge these two, 50% plus 50% equally to the sides of a new belt, we will now have a perfectly balanced belt on the output here. It's like dealing cards. Left, right, left, right, left, right, so that way both sides are perfectly equal with one another. I'm gonna go ahead and show you an example here. Okay, so if I take all this ore, okay, so as you can see, the top part of the belt is full, the bottom part of the belt has sparse amounts of stone coming through it. However, at the splitter, it splits it 50-50 and putting it on both sides of the new belt, resulting in a perfectly balanced output belt. Both sides of the new belt are even. I bet you're probably looking at this and you're like, damn, that's pretty ugly. Well, let's go ahead and shrink this and minimize it using this technique right here. Much smaller build. However, the other one was only for teaching purposes only, so you can get a better visual of what this 50-50 split looks like. However, this setup right here is exactly the same as the other one. Perfectly puts out the output balanced. Okay, another tip here is to never put anything on top of your ore resources except for miners. And of course, like the belts and the power that they'll need. Early game, I see a lot of noobs build their entire base on top of their ore resources. But when you do that, you can no longer access that ore because you have stuff on top of it. You got your cookers on it, you got your assemblers on it. You're going to have to eventually destroy that and move it somewhere else in the future. It's inevitable, so you might as well just never build anything on top of the ore except for your miners. Okay, next thing. There's this function in the game I also see a lot of people not using. It's called alt mode. What alt mode allows you to do, it allows you to see a bunch of information on your screen. It shows you what assemblers are making. It shows you what's inside the pipes. It shows you what filters are set to splitters or inserters. See, if you toggle this back and forth, it's hard to see what's being built. When you turn it on, bada bing, bada boom, you know it's being produced. It'll also show you what's inside of chests. If you have good chest organization, then you can see what's inside of there. Alright everybody, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like and comment and subscribe, you'll fill my brain with all kinds of dopamine. And that's all I really want in this world. That and money. Thanks. Goodbye. Don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment. And don't forget to call your mom. You know it's been a while, dude. Dude, just call your fucking parents.